for Deshaun Watson, they would give 3 first-round picks, Christian McCaffrey, and Teddy Bridgewater. And I think it actually works for both teams. So I think Deshaun works for the Jets. I think Deshaun works for Carolina. I think he works for a lot of people, but here's why it works. First of all, Christian McCaffrey's still a star, but he got banged up last year. He's a running back. Once they start getting banged up, they generally don't get healthier. Number 2 is 3 first-round picks for a quarterback. Jamal Adams got 2. He's a safety. I'll do it in a second. But there is this assumption in the NFL that you draft a quarterback, and then over time, you develop a quarterback, and then Super Bowls follow. But let's just think about the last 5 years. Tampa acquires Tom Brady, right? Okay. And then they won a Super Bowl. And then Peyton Manning went to Denver. And then Jimmy Garoppolo to San Francisco. I didn't draft those quarterbacks. By the way, the Saints never drafted Drew Brees. If you just look at Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, and Garoppolo in the last 5 years, teams don't draft them. Teams don't develop them. They just go acquire them, find them, get them, trade for them, free agent, whatever. And they get to Super Bowls 3 of the last 5 years. Let me throw 2 other quarterbacks out there. Ryan Tannehill was acquired. Kirk Cousins, say what you want. Minnesota, until last year, had been a very high-end NFC team. Again, Drew Brees was not drafted or developed by the Saints. Carolina's got the number 8 pick, and this is really valuable. Carolina would have to give up. To get the quarterback they want in this draft, they would probably have to give up picks to move up. So why not just give up picks and get Deshaun Watson? What's the difference is I know what I get with Deshaun Watson. And I think if you look in division for Carolina, this makes sense. Breeze is retiring, Matt Ryan's past his peak, and Brady's old. And I also think from the Houston Texans perspective, first of all, what you need is first-round picks. You'd get 3 minimum. What you need is a little star power. Christian McCaffrey is star power. What you would need is a bridge quarterback and a quarterback for the future. Well, Teddy Bridgewater went 5-0 last year, not this past year, the year before when he had to start in New Orleans. So you get a bridge quarterback, kind of an Alex Smith-level guy for a year, who's a very good mentor, very smart guy, and then you could take that 8 pick and you could draft another quarterback because there's 5 quarterbacks going to get drafted in the first round. Mac Jones is probably 5. You'd probably get Trey Lance, who, by the way, Trey Lance has a little Deshaun Watson where he's a winning quarterback. He's got a lot of mobility. He's got an above-average arm. He's a playmaker. That's what Deshaun is. Deshaun's not your classic pocket guy, but he's a playmaker. So if I'm the Houston Texans, I could get Bridgewater bridge for a year. I get a star running back. I get draft picks. I got J.J. Watt just left. Deshaun just left. So now I have some draft capital. I mean, you got to remember what Houston has. They have a dilemma. They got no draft picks and no cap space. And this could take care of a lot of that stuff. So I don't think it's crazy. I don't believe this. There's only one way to do it with quarterbacks. Peyton Manning wasn't drafted by Denver. Brady wasn't drafted by Tampa. Garoppolo wasn't drafted by the Niners. Ryan Tannehill not drafted by the Titans. Kirk Cousins not drafted. You can go acquire guys, and I think what you're going to see is, and you're really going to see this with Chicago and Indianapolis, where Chicago's defense is good enough to win a Super Bowl. They probably need to get a quarterback. They absolutely need to get a quarterback, and they probably have to have a fairly strong draft on the offensive line and wide receiver. I'm not sure if Allen Robinson wants to stay. Maybe he does if Wentz comes. Big-armed Wentz and Allen Robinson, to me, would be a great combo. And the Colts, similarly. Colts I don't necessarily buy San Francisco's moving off Garoppolo. I keep hearing that. I have a hard time believing a quarterback goes like 26-6, and you want to got to the Super Bowl in his first year as a starter. Everybody's absolutely sure the Cowboys won't move off Dak, but everybody's sure the Niners will move off Garoppolo. Well, Garoppolo has a higher winning percentage than Dak. And I just don't believe Kyle Shanahan's going to trade Garoppolo and go into a season trying to Kyle Shanahan's got to start winning games. Right now, it's all based on reputation, his dad, what we think he will be as a coach. He's got to win more games now. So I think Garoppolo wins games. So we'll see how it goes. But this one I kind of buy into with Deshaun Watson. I think it works for both teams, and I'd like to see it happen. And Deshaun Watson's miserable. He doesn't want to play in Houston. And, I understand he signed a contract. I get it. But the reality is, do you want somebody in-house that's miserable? And the answer is almost always in sports, no. You don't want a coach that wants another job, and you don't want a quarterback that wants to play somewhere else. And it just happens to be a year. You could get Bridgewater and a rising star in the draft. Go for it. Sometimes driving is great. Sometimes it is not. Like right now in most of the country. Boy, Texas weather, cross your fingers on that. That has been a mess for the last couple of days. Try Michelin Endurance XT silicone wiper blades, available only at Walmart. Last 2 times longer than other blades. Quarterback dominoes will make predictions next. Here we go. It is hour 2. It is great to have you in, live in Los Angeles. This is The Herd. Wherever you may be and however you may be listening or watching, we are on iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, and FS1. I am feeling better. Thanks for all the thoughts and inspirational words. Feeling pretty good. Joy Taylor is joining me. We're going to play a game of quarterback dominoes here in a second. Joy, how are things?
Doing good. I'm glad you're back with us and feeling better. I know it's kind of a chaotic week for you, but...
I'm also moving. Yeah, it is a lot of boxes around the house. It just all, sometimes in life, it all kind of falls apart or kind of feels like there's chaos all in the same week. So I could have picked a better week to move, but that's life, and we move on. Thank you, Joy. So there's a lot of stories today that are out. Carson Wentz is going to be moved here. Philadelphia is trading him. It's official. A lot of top NFL people, Adam Schefter has already reported that. That's going to happen very soon. We've already seen the Matt Stafford deal. Now, these deals aren't official until later in March, but they're agreed upon. So you're going to see something happen this week with Carson Wentz. You may see something with Deshaun Watson. And so I thought this morning we'd play a little bit of quarterback dominoes. I'm just going to roll the dice out, make a few predictions, and I'm going to try to guess where people land as of this morning and as of the reports I hear. So here we go. I'm going to say the Panthers acquired Deshaun Watson. Why? Because you can give Houston everything they'd want. A bridge quarterback, a draft pick, 3 first-round picks, and Christian McCaffrey star power. If you lose Deshaun, you need some star power. This is an organization that needs first-round picks. And remember, Matt Rule has power in the organization. He's a brand new coach. David Tepper, the owner of that team, he's a roll the dice guy. He is a highly aggressive Steve Ballmer-like owner. They would make a move like this. They'd give up multiple picks, Christian McCaffrey. So I'll go with Panthers acquire Deshaun Watson. Second, I think the Texans then would acquire in the same deal Teddy Bridgewater. He is a perfect one-year bridge quarterback. You're also going to get the 8th pick. I'll talk about that in a second. But Bridgewater was 5-0 as a starter a couple years ago when he subbed. He's not a huge cap hit. He also has the ability to learn offenses very quickly. So there's been some chaos in Houston. He's a very non-chaotic personality. He's very Alex Smith. He walks in, he learns your playbook in 3 weeks, and he's respected by other professional athletes. This organization needs a steady hand. Bridgewater's the ultimate steady hand. The Jets, then, I think, draft Zach Wilson. I'm a Sam Darnold guy. I think he needs a reboot somewhere else. Get to that in a second. But Darnold is 11-22 in 3 seasons.